Shut up, Monaco. I get it.
That's right.
Hopefully ambidextrous don't fail me. Whoa, the Appian code showed up again. Where the heck have you two been? You just disappeared without work. You're investigating, of course. How could you not figure that out? Coco, shut up. What, are you jealous?
Hey!
Or are you making up some kind of creepy fantasy for you?
What?
Stop talking and brace yourself. He'll be here at any second. Any second. He could show up at any time. When I imagined what was about to happen, I immediately turned stuff and prepared myself. But we stood there for 5 full minutes waiting for something weird to happen, and then 5 minutes became 10.
Why?
What's going on? Why hasn't anything shown up?
Could it be? What? Come on.
There's not an explanation. I need to waste my time. You've got it all backwards. You're the one that's making me wait.
In other words...
Wait for everyone to arrive. You can't start till everyone's here. What are you talking about? Everyone is so it's okay if we're punished for one. You're okay to violate the range of punishment. If it's me you're waiting for, I'm here. When we heard that voice, we all spun around.
Hey.
What?
Is that right? Indeed.
Perhaps, but that's not necessarily good. Huh? Now we've got to deal with ghosts. I told you, stop.
Let's go.
Come on, let's just... Whatever we need to discuss.
But...
Listen, before we get started, I have to ask, where have you been this whole time? You used that Helio to go somewhere.
Correct.
I want to investigate sex.
That's right. Whew. So... However... Wrong. In other words...
Just a second!
Mako... Goodbye.
You know something. This time the clunking was loud enough to cut my ears, and I'm trying to gather the chicken once again.
I can't wait! I can't wait! Thrills! I'm talking about her gloves.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if
And would you happen?
In fact, Monokuma told me.
Oh, you know,
They probably just got burnt up. I'm not convinced. That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing...
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Shoot! That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it.
Prove she's... The dead body wasn't...
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
No, it's wrong. No. Whoever it was, I imagine trying to wear... Besides, it'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious of...
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh?
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko,
these gloves were custom made to the size of my... If I wore fake nails,
Then that's that.
which should have been obvious since...
Okay, so then.
That's the first thing I said.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right? If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, it's wrong. There was one...
What? If you're lying, you'll die.
Cruel and unusual.
She's just being stupid.
The key to figure is the tattoo on the...
Oh, yeah. Her master must have made...
Seriously?
No, that's not it.
Oh,
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of...
Okay.
To show that they're a member of the team would get a tattoo represent...
Fenrir?
The Wolf of Ragnarok.
Now I understand! The representation...
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. He's the child of the trickster god Loki. And a female...
Man, after all the...
A wolf tattoo.
Exactly. The body, which means that person must have... So it must have... What?
Hold on.
Yes, indeed!
Are you saying the...
No. It means we were wrong.
But I mean... Being...
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her. After After all, looking at her profile, all it said was, if I remember correctly, Kyoko.
So that means...
She's been gone this whole time. Usually when there's a scene where an important...
So you're saying she wasn't, which would mean she was the same as us.
Then who's the...
It must have been the...
No, the headmaster.
But how can we trust that?
My information would.
Okay. We're in the please limit all future.
Fine. Uncovering the... No matter what happens...
I have officially decided to complete. Now then, just so the reason we're having a class trial. Hammer that
What you're saying is that both the victim...
Then...
Wait, no.
Nope. There are only.
Seriously?
Who did it?
Get a hold of yourself. We've all...
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about.
I got it! You've narrowed it down.
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, that at that point. So, the murder must have taken... However, Hiro took...
The gym?
That's right. The whole time we were... All of which is to say...
Are me and
Exactly. Are you thinking of rape?
Well, before that, doing that,
Whatever you want.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden. Well, it was after... So the murder must have happened...
Then I guess we can say the but...
The one who saw the body first was Toko.
I got it!
Yeah, because that was
The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m.
and that was before the sprinklers kicked in.
He's right.
So we can be totally sure the murder...
For me, I was already asleep before night, but I'm sure I met up with everyone.
We ran into each other in the dining. Oh yeah! Right around...
Which means from 10 p.m.
Sprinklers? Yes, the sprinklers.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Shoot!
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock.
No, it's wrong! Actually, the murder couldn't have happened.
And what makes you...
Because of the sprinklers are set to go off. So if the body had been, then it should have been.
Oh, hold on! The body...
Sorry, Toko.
I'm wrong? Are you saying only the mouth down south was...
No, I'm saying that the body was wet.
What do you mean by denying this?
Man,
If you really think you... I admit nothing. I hate you. No! You don't know anything. Hold on. Are you trying to play me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No! You don't know anything. Hold on. Are you trying to play me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to play me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No! You don't know anything.
This should prove it. Just remember what the body was. The top half of the body. If the sprinklers got the.
So they only got the top wet?
I'm so sick.
Let's just move on. The reason only the. While the body.
Then I guess.
So if the sprinkler did sometime after this.
Which means she must have been killed sometime before.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing.
So there's no way Makoto could have done.
In which case, the only one left.
I'd just like to say, if you vote for me, and which is why...
So are you
Of course I'm not. This is a trap.
A trap?
Stop wasting time.
Shut up, you!
You got it.
Anyway, she thought Mukuro was... So she killed her. But you made one cat, and as a result, we were forced to...
She had a motive, and...
I'm not the only one without an... The sprinklers didn't get the body wet. Because you see...
Interesting.
All it would take is covering the body...
I got it! You're talking about the.
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to... In fact, that the dirt pattern on the... Only one side of the... The side that... This proves that the killer...
But why would they go to all...
Most likely so they could... In other words, to... And what might that... By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was... Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water.
Shoot!
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty!
No, that's wrong! Actually, one side... Because Byakuya said it himself. If you put a tarp...
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed...
Oh!
More than that, what if the... What if After they then covered the body in...
You mean...
I know! They could have grabbed... That's what Hifumi did, right?
No. The killer got the blood from right...
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder. But after the murder, there were...
So, you're... Man!
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't anyway. There's no denying that a
Perhaps, but...
Fuck off!
Said the culprit used the tarp, but if that's the case, then the... But that's not what we saw. The ground was...
I have to agree. Maybe they didn't apply the blood and covered it. When you discovered the body.
Wait. No.
Then that...
Sorry, I'm having a...
Here's what happened. But the body didn't get wet. Then, later, they pulled the coat over the body. This series of cover-ups was meant... They wanted us to think the murder happened so...
If that's actually what took place, it's...
But wouldn't they have had to go back to...
That actually wouldn't hurt. They already had the coat ready. They'd be done in... Maybe. Tina. After you met...
Oh, no. I headed off.
Then he had plenty of time...
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's...
I must admit, Kyoko's... Well then, it looks Makoto's alibi is no good, so...
For serious? Hey! Why don't we let luck just...
Oh!
See?
No, not that.
Well, don't just stand...
You know that knife we found all...
One we found stuck in the... According to the Monaku... So?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen... That's what I thought when I first...
You don't seem surprised. Then why did you...
It's not that I hit...
I couldn't be sure what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did.
Suspicion knife we found stuck. Now I'm totally convinced he did it!
Fuck off!
The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then... That seals it! Makoto did it!
Just because I had the knife once? That automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
We've already established that the kill was put on the body after the part was removed. Being from the knife thrust into the body.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once? That automatically makes me the killer?
Disguised because the
Well,
kill was put on
getting
after.
stabbed is what killed her.
No, it's wrong.
Disguised.
Wait, hold on. The stab wound, that should be clear from the description.
Lies!
No, the killer covered the dead body with it. In other words, the victim never...
Okay, fine.
So... The knife had been thrust through the... Meaning, if she was obviously the stab...
Maybe you stabbed her twice.
Yeah, Monokuma file.
The Monokuma file clearly
Oh yeah, it sure did.
Then the knife...
was just another piece of camouflage. They probably stabbed her to draw it, exploding the body afterwards. The explosion severely damaged. It was all the killer's attempt.
So they wanted us to notice this. They meant for us to...
Oh, hey, I have a question. What's the deal with that explosion anyway?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears...
Well, if you're so smart...
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quant...
I might be dumb, but even...
Go ahead, Makoto.
No, it's not a top. Fragments?
I got it!
Ah, yeah, fragments.
After the explosion, we found that fragment reveals...
Huh?
That's only natural. We saw the same thing. It's part of...
Oh!
Anyway,
I hate them.
culprit's
I hate
motive,
not
they
them
wanted the
things.
knife wound to look like the fatal injury, and the only one is the only other...
Hold on a second.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like...
That's true.
Fine. I have no problem. It won't change the facts.
Sorry, it's another absorb.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't me because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Shoot!
Then, shall we continue the debate?
I am a dumbass.
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. Yes.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that
I should
happened.
wait until...
And it wasn't me because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
No, I think it's correct.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
No, that's wrong! Mukuro died because of the...
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body?
The Monokuma file makes it clear...
Oh yeah, good point.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming...
Then the Monokuma file says she...
Oh, I bet it was...
How is that even possible?
Well, maybe they held it the other way.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any... I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
Please
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end.
I'd love to scoop out that nest. Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right?
We already know?
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto.
Real murder weapon.
I got it!
The titanium arrows.
Mukuro was hit in the back of the head. And that something was...
Arrow.
Indeed.
Are you sure? Hey! I'm not back-talking anything.
I don't believe he has to die yet, because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more thing. Bloody duct tape.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Damn it.
Back to Master! You have no right!
Damn it, using bloody duct tape to stick them together.
The titanium arrow.
It was in the dojo, I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right?
It seems like an arrow would just...
No, it's
Yep,
wrong.
stick bloody duct tape. Stick it. And you pretty much got weapon.
You're right. Just the...
Another...
Inside the dojo... The killer bundling them to... And that's exactly...
It's similar to Aesop's...
I don't remember
One
reading
stick
that.
is weak. We'll put them together.
How is it harsh?
Anyway, that explains the murder. As for who the culprit is, it was you.
I've never been to...
Oh no.
How can you say that?
Because we have proof.
Oh,
Surely you don't intend. You know what will happen if you cover for the culprit death of us.
of course.
Then show us. Show.
What's wrong?
I got it! The one thing that proves right here.
And how does that prove
Because...
it was...
Don't bother, Trump. That key is just your non-existent alibi. This all proves that.
Hold on.
Not this again.
No, there's one more thing Kyoko. Last night. Why? That's what I need to...
I was just...
What?
That's enough. The time.
Wait, I'm warning you. Don't...
I knew you were.
Really? But can you tell me I'm...
Oh, another non-stop tape.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Wait, Kyoko gave the room keys to Byakuya. What does it mean?
Those words you just spoke.
Oh,
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But
Oh wait,
could
no.
I really have done that?
Let's lock the key in.
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly. I'm not, but you should understand.
Byakuya,
What are you...
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand. Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Oh,
No, that's wrong.
I got it right. That one's just a stab in the dark. So
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been... Because she had given her room...
I see. So that... And if I had the key...
Then obviously, without my room key, am I wrong?
It would have...
Then you're finally...
Let it go.
I couldn't possibly have...
Well, someone had...
There's only one up. Someone could have had the key on them.
Let's think about it one more time. First of all, there's some... Lukaro, who we didn't even know, and Kyoko even said...
Okay, time's
Yep,
up.
she's right on the freaking money, otherwise he wouldn't have just said
Time's
time
up. Class,
What?
What do you mean time's up? There's no...
It's because you were late. So then, it's time.
Voting?
Now, who will...
Oh god, I hope I don't get fucking copyright claims now that my channel's big enough. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry. Yes, sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You've got it all wrong.
Yes, Yep.
Yeah, you got it right. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes sense. No.
Hey! Shing! Drill!
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know that...
Let's give it up!
I'm just gonna be the same side. Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, what's that? Yeah,
This is...
Ego? Alter Ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? Must have caught him and invaded my network. Damn all the hell, I don't believe this.
it would seem...
It seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words,
What I'm saying is you shouldn't have underestimated us.